Hey everyone, it's Val. Today I'm going to walk you through my PvE Templar Healer build for update 50. This guide is designed primarily for veteran dungeons and veteran trials. Whether you're just starting your healing journey or looking to get into organized endgame content, I will explain not only what I use, but more importantly, why I use it. One of the biggest mistakes new healers make is thinking their job is simply to heal. In ESO, healing is only part of your responsibility. Your real job is to keep your group alive while increasing their damage, improving their sustain, cleansing harmful effects, and providing as many buffs and debuffs as possible. That's what separates an average healer from a great one. Everything in this guide is based on the setup I personally use and have had great success with. As you progress into harder content, you will eventually collect additional support sets that allow you to adapt to different trial groups. But this build is an excellent foundation and one I still enjoy using. Let's get started. So my healer is a Templar. I'm a Breton Templar, and Templar remains one of the strongest healing classes in ESO. Thanks to its incredible healing over time abilities, built-in cleanse, excellent resource management, and powerful group utility. It has one of the smoothest healing toolkits in the game and is an excellent class for both newer healers and experienced trial healers. I personally play a Breton. Breton is an outstanding healer race because it provides an increased max magicka, reduced magicka ability cost, increased magicka recovery, additional spell resistance. All of these bonuses make resource management much easier, allowing you to spend less time worrying about your magicka bar and more time focusing on mechanics and supporting your group. Other excellent race options include High Elf, which offers slightly higher healing and damage thanks to increased weapon and spell damage, while also restoring magicka whenever you use class abilities. Argonian is a fantastic sustain through potion usage and additional healing done, excellent for new healers especially. Dark Elf is ideal if you frequently switch between healing and DPS characters. Honestly, you can heal every piece of content on any race. But Breton remains my personal favorite because of its incredible sustain. So for attributes, all 64 points are into magicka. As a healer, nearly every ability scales from your magicka and weapon or spell damage. Putting everything into magicka gives you the largest resource pool and improves your overall healing potential. As for Mundus Stone, I use the ritual, which increases your healing done, making every heal stronger. Since my sustain is already comfortable, I prefer increasing the strength of my healing rather than adding additional recovery. If you're newer to healing or struggle with magicka sustain, the Atronach is an excellent alternative because it greatly increases magicka recovery. Both are fantastic choices. I simply prefer the ritual. As for food, I use Clockwork Citrus Fillet. It provides maximum health, maximum magicka, magicka recovery, and everything a healer basically needs. If you're looking for a cheaper alternative, Witch Mother's Protein Brew is still an excellent option, of course. Potions. I use Essence of Spell Power. These restore magicka while granting Major Sorcery, Major Prophecy. Keeping these buffs active increases both your healing and your overall effectiveness. Now let's take a look at the gear I'm currently using. I'm using Ozizan the Inferno for both head and shoulders. They're both divines with maximum magicka glyphs. And Ozizan is one of my favorite monster set because it focuses on survivability. The 1-piece bonus increases our magicka recovery. The 2-piece bonus grants minor vitality whenever we heal allies, increasing their healing received. Whenever we overheal allies, it also grants them over 4,000 armor for a short duration. Since healers constantly overheal through healing over time abilities, this effect has an excellent uptime. This makes Ozesan particularly valuable during veteran trials, progression groups, and difficult mechanics where survivability is more important than raw healing numbers. As for body sets, I'm using Spell Power Cure for 5 pieces: the chest, the belt, the shoes, the breeches, and the gloves. Some of them are infused, other are divines, all with maximum Magica enchantment. And the infused is just to increase the armor enchantment effect by 21%. With regards to Spell Power Cure, this set remains one of the strongest support sets in ESO. Whenever we overheal ourselves or our allies, we grant major courage, increasing weapon and spell damage. Since healers are constantly applying healing over time effects, maintaining extremely high uptime on major courage is quite easy. I specifically wear all 5 body armor pieces because this keeps Spell Power Cure active on both weapon bars. No matter which bar I'm using, I'm always wearing all 5 pieces. That makes the build easier to play while ensuring I never accidentally lose the set bonus. Let's take a look at the jewelry. I wear Powerful Assault. For necklace, where I have an infused type of jewelry, and 2 rings, both infused, and one carrying a weapon and spell damage enchantment and magica recovery, and another one just purely for magica recovery. If your sustain is excellent, you can comfortably switch that last glyph to spell damage for additional healing power and stronger offensive support. Powerful Assault activates whenever we cast Echoing Vigor. When activated, it grants additional weapon and spell damage to us and nearby group members. This makes Powerful Assault one of the strongest offensive support sets available. Let's take a look at the front bar. I'm using the Perfected Grand Rejuvenation Restoration Staff, also known as the Perfected Mastered Restoration Staff. The trait is powered, has an enchantment for Absorb Magica, and it's powered, which increases our healing done, making it the ideal trait for our primary healing bar. Grand Rejuvenation also restores Magica and stamina to allies standing inside our Illustrious Healing, which is a skill that we're going to talk about shortly. This dramatically improves resources sustained for tanks, healers, and damage dealers through longer encounters. For the back bar, we have the Powerful Assault Lightning Staff. The trait is infused, and the enchantment is weapon and spell damage. The infused trait increases the strength and uptime of our enchantment. Because Blockade of Storms continues ticking after we swap bars, our weapon and spell damage enchantment continues proccing while we're back on our restoration staff. This increases both our healing and the damage our group can produce. Now let's take a look at our champion points. In the warfare tree, we have Soothing Tide, which increases your healing done with healing over time abilities, making it one of the strongest slottable for healers. Then we have Enlivening Overflow, increases the healing on allies who are already healthy, helping maintain strong support during stable portions of a fight. Then we have Swift Renewal, improves the effectiveness of our healing over time abilities. Since a large portion of Templar healing comes from the HUDs, this provides excellent value. And then we have From the Brink, which greatly increases your healing on low health allies, helping stabilize dangerous situations before they become wipes. Now, for the fitness tree, we have Boundless Vitality, which gives additional maximum health. Fortified, which gives additional armor. Rejuvenation, which improves magic stamina and health recovery. And Celerity, which gives additional movement speed, making mechanics easier. Now, going back to our skill bars, let's take a look at the abilities that I'm using with this build. The front bar, we have, which is of course our restoration staff, we have Energy Orb, Combat Prayer, Illustrious Healing, Extended Ritual, Radiant Regeneration, and the ultimate is Aggressive Horn. This is my primary healing bar. Almost all of my direct healing comes from these abilities. On the back bar, our Destro staff, so the lightning staff, we have Elemental Susceptibility, Luminous Shards, Echoing Vigor, Blockade of Storms, Overflowing Altar, and the ultimate is Solar Prison. This bar focuses primarily on buffs, debuffs, and support. Most of these abilities are refreshed before swapping back to the restoration staff, where I spend the majority of my time healing the group. In the next part of this guide, we'll go through every single skill on both bars, explaining why it's there, how to use it effectively, what buffs or debuffs it provides, and discuss the essential passives every Templar Healer should unlock. Since we'll be covering the gear, now let's take a look at what really makes a great healer. Anyone can equip the right sets. The difference between an average healer and an exceptional healer is understanding why every skill is on your bars and knowing how to maintain your buffs, debuffs, and healing over time effects. Remember, your goal isn't just to heal damage after it happens. Your goal is to prevent deaths by keeping your buffs active, maintaining your healing over time abilities, and anticipating incoming damage. All right, for the front bar, the restoration staff. This is where I spend most of my time. These are the abilities responsible for keeping the group alive while providing some of the strongest support buffs in the game. The first skill we said is Energy Orb. This is one of the most important healing abilities in ESO. Energy Orb travels through your group, healing allies every second, but more importantly, it provides the combustion synergy. When activated, this synergy restores a large amount of the player's primary resource, making it incredibly valuable for tanks and damage dealers. As a healer, you should almost always have an energy orb traveling through your group. If your tank is blocking continuously or your DPS players are burning through resources, this synergy can make a huge difference. Energy Orb also contributes to spell power cure because every healing tick has the potential to overheal allies. Combat Prayer. If I had to choose one ability that separates experienced healers from beginners, it would probably be Combat Prayer. Besides providing a burst heal, Combat Prayer grants Minor Berserk, increasing the damage your allies deal, Minor Resolve, increasing their physical and spell resistance. Because Minor Berserk is such a valuable offensive buff, maintaining high uptime on Combat Prayer should always be one of your priorities. Position yourself so you consistently hit your tank and damage dealers whenever possible. Illustrious Healing. This is your primary ground heal. You'll be casting this ability throughout nearly every encounter. It provides strong healing over time while simultaneously activating the perfected Grand Rejuvenation Restoration staff. Every time the initial heal lands, your group receives additional magicka and stamina sustain. Illustrious Healing also creates countless opportunities to trigger spell power cure through overhealing. Whenever possible, keep these underneath your group. Extended Ritual. This is one of the biggest reasons why Templar is such an outstanding healer. Extended Ritual continuously heals allies standing inside it. It also provides removal of the harmful effects and the purify synergy. Many veteran trials include mechanics that apply dangerous debuffs to your group. Extended Ritual help cleanse those effects while simultaneously providing another healing overtime ability. This ability should have excellent uptime throughout every fight. Radiating Regeneration. Radiating Regeneration automatically jumps between multiple nearby allies. Because it lasts a long time and doesn't require careful aiming, it's one of the easiest healing overtime abilities to maintain. It's perfect for keeping players healthy while you're moving, performing mechanics, or refreshing your backbar buffs. Like your other healing overtime abilities, it also contributes towards maintaining spell power cure. I personally use Radiant Regeneration because it's a very reliable healing overtime ability that automatically jumps between injured allies. It requires very little maintenance and does a great job of keeping your group healthy while you're refreshing buffs, handling mechanics, or repositioning during a fight. It also contributes to maintaining spell power cure through its continuous healing ticks. That said, this is one of the most flexible skill slots on my bar. As you progress into more organized veteran trials, your raid leader may ask you to replace Radiating Regeneration with another utility skill depending on the encounter. A common replacement for Radiating Regeneration is Efficient Purge for encounters with frequent harmful effects. But anyway, don't be afraid to adjust this slot. One of the strengths of a good healer is adapting to what the group needs rather than using the exact same bar for every trial. Aggressive Horn. This is your primary ultimate. Aggressive Horn increases your group's maximum magic and maximum stamina while also granting major force, increasing critical damage. This ultimate should almost never be used randomly. Coordinated with your raid leader or your group's burst phases. When multiple players use Aggressive Horn together, you lose value. Good trial groups rotate horns to maximize uptime. As for the back bar, we have Elemental Successibility. This ability applies Major Breach, reducing enemy resistances and allowing your group to deal significantly more damage. It also continuously applies Elemental Status effect through its duration. One of the biggest advantages of Elemental Successibility is that it costs no magicka, making it incredibly efficient. Keep these active on bosses at all times. Luminous Shards. This is another iconic Templar support ability. It damages enemies while providing one of the best synergies in ESO. The synergy restores either magic or stamina depending on what the player needs most. Your tank will often rely on this resource return, especially during longer boss fights. Try to throw shards where your tank can easily activate the synergy without disrupting their positioning. Echoing Vigor. This skill provides another healing overtime effect. More importantly, it activates Powerful Assault. Whenever you are using Powerful Assault, Echoing Vigor becomes one of your highest priority abilities. Your normal flow is to bar swap to your Lightning Staff, cast Echoing Vigor to activate Powerful Assault, refresh your other backbar abilities, then swap back to the Restoration Staff. Blockade of Storms. This skill serves several purposes. It deals area damage, it helps apply status effects, but most importantly, it continuously activates your infused weapon and spell damage enchantment while you're in your front bar. Because of this interaction, Blockade of Storms becomes a major contribution to your group's overall damage and your own healing output. Refresh it whenever it expires. Overflowing Altar is a skill that applies minor life steals to enemies inside its area. Whenever your group damages those enemies, they receive additional healing. It also provides the blood funnel synergy. This synergy is incredibly strong during progression groups because it gives player an emergency heal whenever they need it. Overflowing Altar is especially valuable during heavy raid damage. Solar Prison is my backbar ultimate, but it's important to understand that this is a situational choice. In a vast majority of veteran trials, you will primarily be using aggressive horn because of the tremendous group damage increases it provides through major force. However, there are encounters where your raid leader may specifically ask for Solar Prison. Its Gravity Crush synergy deals significant burst damage, and the ultimate itself provides additional crowd control and group utility. Like many support abilities in ESO, whether you use Solar Prison or Aggressive Horn depends on your group strategy rather than personal preference. Always communicate with your raid leader and coordinate your ultimate usage. Essential passives. So, passives are just as important as your active skills. Many players underestimate them, but together they provide a tremendous increase in healing, sustain, and overall effectiveness. Passives for the restoration staff. You have to unlock every passive. The most important ones include the Cycle of Life, improves your fully charged heavy attacks, helping restore magicka whenever sustain becomes an issue. Essence Drain. After completing a heavy attack, your healing done is increased and you gain major mending for a short duration. This is especially useful during encounters where you have opportunities to weave in heavy attacks. Restoration Expert improves your healing against low health allies. Absorb increases your magical recovery while holding your restoration staff. For destruction staff, unlock every passive. These improve your lightning staff performance and resource management. Important passive include Ancient Knowledge, which provides valuable bonuses while using a lightning staff. Destruction Expert restores magicka whenever enemies dies. Penetrating Magic, additional spell penetration. For the armor, light armor, unlock every passive because it's absolutely worth it. These increase magical recovery, spell critical, spell penetration, reduce magicka cost. Healing sustain depends heavily on these passives. With regards to guild, we have the Undaunted. 2 passives are mandatory. The Undaunted Command. Whenever you activate a synergy, you restore health, magicka, and stamina. Since healers constantly activate synergies, these provide incredible sustain. And the Undaunted Medal increases your maximum health, magicka, and stamina depending on the armor weights you're wearing. Alliance War. These passives are extremely valuable. Combat Medic provides additional support after resurrecting allies. Magicka Aid increases magical recovery while Alliance War support ability is slotted. Since Aggressive Horn comes from the skill line, this passive is essentially free sustain. Continuous Attack provides movement speed outside combat, making general gameplay much smoother. Now, with regards to the Templar passives, you want to unlock all the passives from Edric's Spear, Dawn's Wrath, Restoring Light. Several passives deserve special mention, like Sacred Ground. Standing inside your own cleansing abilities grants additional healing received and reduces incoming damage. Since you're already using Extended Ritual, you'll naturally benefit from this passive. Mending. This is one of the reasons Templars excels during dangerous moments when players drop to low health. Master Ritualist improves resurrection speed and grants additional health to resurrected allies. This can save progression pulls where a quick resurrection gets someone back into the fight. So let's talk about heavy attacks and resource management. One question I'll often get asked is, when should I heavy attack? The answer depends on your sustain. Your primary responsibility is maintaining your healing overtime abilities and group buffs. If you're comfortably using your magicka, continue focuses on your normal healing rotation. However, during longer fights or progression content, don't hesitate to weave in a fully charged heavy attack with your restoration staff, when there is a safe opportunity, of course. Thanks to the restoration staff passives, heavy attack restore a significant amount of magicka and can also increase your healing output for a short duration. Learning when you can safely heavy attack without letting important buffs or healing over time abilities expire is a skill that comes with experience. With regards to rotation, we can say that rather than thinking of healing as a fixed rotation, think of it as a priority system. Before combat begins, place overflowing altar, if appropriate. Position yourself where you can easily reach both tanks and damage dealers. As combat starts, apply elemental successibility to the boss. Cast the blockade of storms. Throw luminous shards towards your tank. Cast echoing vigor to activate a powerful assault. Swap to your restoration bar. Once on your front bar, place the illustrious healing beneath your group. Send an energy orb through your group. Apply radiating regeneration. Use combat prayer to maintain minor berserk and minor resolve. And refresh extended ritual whenever needed. Through the fight, keep asking yourself these questions. Is spell power cure active? Is powerful assault active? Does the boss still have major breach? Is blockade of storm still running? Does my group have energy orbs available? Does my tank need another luminous shard synergy? Is combat prayer still active on my group? Can I safely fit in a restoration staff heavy attack for sustain? Finally, coordinate aggressive horn with your other healer and your raid leader. Avoid overlapping horns whenever possible. Good healers don't simply react to damage. They anticipate mechanics, maintain nearly perfect buff uptime, and keep the group prepared before the damage even happens. That's what separates a good healer from a great one. Now let's talk about class mastery. So this is one of the newest additions introduced with update 50. Once you have fully leveled all 3 Templar skill lines and decide to stay as a pure Templar, instead of using subclassing, you will unlock 5 unique Templar class mastery passives. From those 5, you can invest your 2 class mastery points into the 2 passive that best fit for your playstyle. For my PvE trial Templar Healer, I've chosen Bastion of Light and Devout Guardian. And I think these 2 passives work incredibly well together. Bastion of Light enhances your Sacred Ground effects. Sacred Ground is also applied while standing your own Nova and Spear Shards, as well as while Solar Barrage or Radial Sweeps are active. While you're standing your Sacred Ground, you will heal yourself every second. If that heal overheals you while you're in combat, you generate 2 ultimate. As a healer, this is a fantastic thing because we are constantly casting Templar abilities that create Sacred Ground. That means we're generating ultimate passively just by doing our job. But ultimately means more aggressive horn cast for your group, or more Solar Prison when the situation calls for it. Devout Guardian is my second choice as for class mastery passive. While you're standing in the Sacred Ground, you gain a damage shield every 6 seconds. While that shield is active, you also gain additional health, magicka, and stamina recovery, which helps tremendously with sustain during longer encounters. If that shield is completely consumed by incoming damage, you immediately gain 10 ultimate. Again, This synergizes perfectly with Bastion of Light. Not only am I becoming tankier and improving my sustain, but I'm also generating even more ultimate whenever I'm taking heavy damage during difficult mechanics. Why I choose these two? For me, healing isn't just about restoring health bars. It's also about providing as much support to the group as possible. Both these class mastery passives contribute directly to that goal by increasing my ultimate generation, improving my survivability, and helping me maintain my resources throughout long boss fights. The more ultimate I generate, the more often I can cast Aggressive Horn, which is one of the strongest group support ultimate in the game. That's why for dedicated PvE Trial Temple Healer in Update 50, I personally recommend Bastion of Light together with Devout Guardian. Now, let's talk about sets. Now that we have covered the build I personally use, let's talk about what happens as you move into organized veteran trials. One of the biggest differences between dungeons healing and trial healing is that there is no single best gear setup. In dungeons, you can comfortably use one build for almost everything. In organized trials, however, your job is support the raid. That means you'll often swap gear depending on the encounter and what the other healer is wearing, what the tanks are wearing, and what your raid leader wants. The best healers don't just master one build, they collect multiple support sets and know when to use each one. Let's go through the most important sets every trial healer should eventually own. The first one is Spell Power Cure. You can get this set from the White Gold Tower. This is your foundational healer set. Spell Power Cure grants major courage whenever you overheal an ally, increasing their weapon and spell damage. Because Templar healers maintain several healing overtime abilities, keeping major courage active is very easy. This is one of the strongest support buffs in ESO, and is the reason Spell Power Cure is still considered one of the core healer sets. If you're building your first healer, this should be one of the first sets you farm. Powerful Assault. This drops in Imperial City and activates whenever you cast an assault ability, such as Echoing Vigor. It grants additional weapon and spell damage to you and nearby group members. This set is incredibly strong because you're already casting Echoing Vigor as part of your normal healing rotation. In 4-player content, Powerful Assault can buff the entire group. In Trials, it buffs up to 6 players at a time, so positioning and healer assignments become much more important. Roaring Opportunist. This set drops from Kind's Aegis Trial. Roaring Opportunist is one of the most iconic trial healer sets. After performing a full charged heavy attack, it grants Major Slayer to your group. Major Slayer increases damage done to dungeon and trial monsters. The duration scales with your highest offensive stat, rewarding optimized healer builds. Roaring Opportunist requires practice because timing your heavy attacks is extremely important. You don't want to sacrifice healing simply to activate the set. Learning when to safely heavy attack is one of the biggest skills you'll develop as a trial healer. Now, Jorval's Guidance. You can get this set from Scale Color Peak Dungeon. It increases the duration of many major and minor buffs you apply. Its most famous pairing is with the Roaring Opportunist. Together, these two sets create the legendary Rojo setup. Roaring Opportunist grants Major Slayer. Jorval's extends that duration. The result is significantly higher Major Slayer uptime for your raid. Rojo remains one of the most common healer's assignment in organized veteran trials. Pillager's Prophet. This set drops from Dreadsail Reef Trial, and it's one of the strongest support sets in the game. Whenever you cast your ultimate, nearby group members gain major heroism for a short duration. This dramatically increases ultimate generation for the raid. More ultimates mean more aggressive horns. More aggressive horns mean higher overall group damage. Because of this synergy, Pillager's Prophet is commonly assigned to one healer, while the second healer wears another support combination such as Rojo. Master Architect. The source is Halls of Fabrication. It grants Major Slayer to nearby allies whenever you cast an ultimate. Although it isn't used in every group, it can still be an excellent option in organized raids that coordinates burst windows. Sex Healed Champion. You can find this set from Rockgrove Trial. It grants Major Force to your group after using an ultimate. Some raid groups assign this set to a healer. Others prefer having a tank wear it. This depends entirely on your group composition. Stone Talker's Oath. This set drops from Rockgrove Trial and focuses on group sustain. Whenever you heal allies, this set restores additional resources over time. This is an excellent progression set when your group struggles with magical or stamina management. Xori Masterpiece is one of the newest support sets available to healers, and it drops from Lucent Citadel Trial. It focuses on increasing your group's overall offensive support. Although it isn't required for every trial, many experienced healers keep it available for optimized raid compositions. As with every support set, communicate with your raid leader before using it. Now, let's take a look at the monster sets. As your collection grows, you'll eventually want several different monster sets. Each one fills a different role. We have Ozizan the Inferno, which is excellent for progression. It provides additional survivability through armor and minor vitality. One of my personal favorites. Symphony of Blades, one of the strongest sustained monster sets ever introduced. Whenever you heal an ally who's low on their primary resources, Symphony restores magicka or stamina over several seconds, and it's fantastic for organized veteran trials. Nazare extends the duration of debuffs already applied to enemies. This allows your group to maintain a powerful offensive debuffs for longer periods, usually seen in more advanced raid groups. Archdruid Devrich. It provides additional offensive support through unique debuffs, often coordinated with tanks depending on group composition. Earthgore, a fantastic emergency healing monster set. If your group is learning difficult mechanics or you're progressing through new content, Earthgore can save lives. Sentinel, a great beginner monster set. It provides additional healing and resources sustain. While it's older than many of the other options, it's still perfectly capable of completing veteran content. Now, Mythics. Once you begin collecting mythic items, several becomes extremely valuable for healers, like the Pearls. This is one of the strongest healer mythics. It increases ultimate generation, allowing you to cast aggressive horn more frequently. This is a favorite among experienced trial healers. The Spalder of Ruin, which increases weapon and spell damage for nearby allies. The downside is a small health drain while active. With proper positioning and communication, this mythic provides tremendous offensive value. Let's talk about building your collection. So, if you're just starting out, don't try to collect everything at once. This is the progression I would personally recommend. Step 1, acquire Spell Power Cure, Powerful Assault, Ozizan, the Perfected Grand Rejuvenation, and this setup is excellent for nearly every veteran dungeon and is solid entry point into trials. Step 2 is Roaring Opportunist, Jorvul's Guidance, and these are your first dedicated trial support sets. Step 3, Pillager's Prophet, Symphony of Blades, Pearls, and these sets are staples of organized veteran trial groups. Step 4 would be Master Architect, Sex-Healed Champion, Stone, and Xorin, together with Nazare, Archdruid, and collect these as your group begins tackling harder content and your raid leader requests different assignments. One of the things I love most about healing in ESO is that you are never really finished. Unlike many DPS builds that revolve around a single setup, healers become stronger by expanding their toolkit. Every new support set gives you another way to help your group succeed. Don't worry if you don't own every set yet. Start with the basics. Learn your rotation, maintain your buffs, and communicate with your group. Then, little by little, build your collection. Before long, you'll be able to adapt to almost any veteran trial your raid leader throws at you. Thanks so much for watching. If this guide helped you, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And if there are other healer builds or support setups you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao!